Well, hi everybody. Welcome back. I have the lovely Lipstick Therapy, aka Dominique, here with me. Thank you for joining me
Hi.
afternoon, rather. So, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am originally from New York City. I currently live in Georgia. I started out as a children's author, writing children's books about family travel. And then I transitioned into writing adults specifically geared towards women regarding relationships.
Perfect. Okay, so today we're going to discuss the nice guy. I know that we have often hear as women, guys telling us, well, we don't like nice guys, or they try to convince us that they are not like the others. So,
Right.
um, I don't know if you have. How many times have you heard, well, I'm not like them, or I'm a nice guy, or I'm a good guy?
I've heard it a lot, and usually it comes from guys who aren't very nice.
Right.
They think they're nice because they have specific qualities about them, but they're just not, they don't have the character, you know?
Right.
And I think some men think that because they do, maybe they provide financially, that automatically makes them like the perfect partner. And that's just
Right.
not the
And
case.
we all know it's more than that. A lot of times we don't well, I know for myself, I explain to people that, if you are a nice person, you're going to be that person regardless of the circumstances. I know oftentimes we end up with the nice guy that plays the role for the moment. And then if
Hmm.
we don't do something that is, I guess, to their liking, or to their that benefits their agenda,
Hmm.
the roles sometimes switch up. How
Most definitely.
have you ever encountered that?
Yes. Especially in the beginning, like the first 2 to 3 months, they can pretend to play this facade of being this really romantic gentleman. They give you all of the time and attention and affection that they want. And then if you say, oh, well, I want to wait a little while before we engage sexually, then
Right.
the switch immediately flips.
Right. And we see that way too often. So I think, like I was, I guess, explaining to somebody the other day, this definition of a nice guy, a lot of times, they, again, it's, they're only nice when it benefits their ill agenda. Sometimes when that entitlement is met with rejection, then, or denied, like you said, denied access, then they tend to flip the script. Do you think that because of, I guess, today, the actual nice guys that are actually good men, do you think that because of the I guess the ill intent from others, do you think that gives them a bad rap? So that when, we do meet these guys, do you think that that kind of, I guess, do you think we tend to think that they aren't nice guys because of it, or
Yeah, I think it's just a trauma response because you tend to look at them all with the same lens, right? Until guilty until proven innocent, basically. And so, they all show up the same in the beginning. And so you have to wait out their interview process
right?
until they get to the point where they can reveal their true selves. And it's unfortunate, but I think everybody they put their best foot forward in the beginning, and so we
Mhm.
all are playing a particular type of character, right? Nobody shows up as an a-hole. I mean, most people don't,
Right.
but because you would immediately discard them. But I think when you take the time to actually get to know the person outside of social media outside of text messaging and in person, then that gives you more insight into who they really are.
Right. Okay. So what in your experience would be good indicators as to like weed out those particular individuals that aren't necessarily the nice guy, and what do you think would be um good indicators to know that you've picked the right person?
Um, for me, I like to ask them why their last relationship ended. And if they hold no accountability, if they blame everything on their ex, every single relationship ended because of the woman, and they cannot tell me what they did wrong, that is that is a red flag for me. I can't I can't have a conversation with somebody who can't, tell me what their faults are because nobody was perfect.
Right. And and I've also I think encountered individuals where I've asked that same thing, and I've told people that that's a big red flag for me. More so, what have you done to heal from that particular incident? Because a lot of times, they may think, "Oh, I'm a nice guy," but then you end up projecting your insecurities or the failed relationship from your past onto the new, and no
Mhm.
one wants to encounter something that they didn't break. um
Yes.
right. So yeah, so that's that. I know that's been a big issue. Let's see. I want to say for me, another indicator for if I always say that how you will act as you are in certain circumstances. So like say for instance, if we're going out, and you decide to open the door, sometimes people will play that role as a gentleman or the nice
Mhm.
guy for that time being. But after so long of y'all actually going out and being around each other, you can actually see if that is a embedded behavior or if it's
Right.
just a role for that moment. Um,
Right.
I also believe that instinctually your reactions is who you are.
Mhm.
So I can give an example as to like there was this incident where a person had the opportunity to um, make me comfortable in their environment, and instead they cared more about themselves than they did making me comfortable. Later on, when I brought it to their attention, it was as if like, oh well, that's not my intent. Oh, but I know it's too late. But I feel like if if that was your first reaction,
Yes.
that's really who you are, because
Yes.
genuinely good people actually react in a way where they care about others.
Yes. Yes. That reminds me of my ex so much. So much. I was pregnant. We were in one of his luxury cars. I had morning sickness, and so I tried to open up the door fast enough so I could projectile some of it out the door, and
Mhm.
some of it got on his car. And he came over and proceeded to clean the car off without checking on me first.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, but he would swear to people that he's just this really nice guy.
Right. Someone made a comment and said, I wouldn't say nice, I would say a gentleman. For example, it's documented that MLK Jr. Had multiple affairs. However, he was a gentleman. Um, yeah, I can definitely agree with that. But at the same token, even when it comes to um, playing the nice guy role, I feel like most of the time some men don't understand what that entails. Um,
Right.
and being a nice guy or gentleman is pretty much wrapped in the same. Now, being a good man is a little different. We talk about emotionally secure, physically secure, financially secure. All those things have to really be in place. And a lot of times, men think, like you were saying earlier, if, they're able to provide financially, but they're lacking in the emotional aspect of what it means to be a good man.
Yes, yes, definitely agree with that. I think another example for me is that when you meet somebody on social media, and
Hmm.
let's say you guys agree that you're going to just date casually, and then you move it into exclusivity, and they will say that you're the only person that they want to talk to, and they're nice to you in person, but online they're
Mm,
displaying other characteristics that show otherwise.
right.
So I think people like to pick and choose when they want to pull out that nice guy card.
Right. And that I think has been the the worst part about dating. Is people being that well, I'm going to be nice to you sometimes and behind closed doors, but in public, oh, you're just another lady. You're
Right.
just another person that I'm talking to. That actually reminded me of a situation where a few years ago, I actually dated this guy, and he was the one that came to me about being exclusive, right? So I'm like, oh my God, okay, this is a little, usually we're the ones
Right. That wants
well,
it.
we. So for him to do that, I was like, oh my goodness. So 7 months later, when I was I guess we were getting ready to be I was being ready to be introduced to his friends.
Hmm.
Instead of, hey, this is the girl I've been dating, it's, oh, this is my homegirl. And I'm like,
Excuse me?
7 months and I'm a homegirl. Okay. So, and I think too, along the lines of being a nice guy or a good person, you should be, if the dynamics of the relationship or the dating process has changed, I think that it's only right for you to verbalize that so that you can, let that person know where their energy needs to be gauged.
Hmm.
Because oftentimes, you know, we have where, well, men and women do it too, but
Right.
we have people that in their mind, they're no longer wanting to be with that person, but they won't
Hmm.
say anything. They'll just sit there in the dating
Yeah.
process and
Yes.
waste time.
That's so frustrating because they expect a person to pick up on the miscommunication or the fact that you're not as available anymore instead of just coming out and saying, listen, this is not working for me. And I think men particularly do this because they want to leave the door open just in case whatever they think is better
Mhm.
doesn't work out. And so they have you as a backup plan, which is selfish and
Right. Well,
toxic.
I've actually encountered that too. Like, I actually I tried to date this guy. We were only dated for like 2 weeks. for, for whatever reason, it only lasts 2 weeks. But I noticed that he was kind of like, his attention was elsewhere. And so
Yeah.
I kind of backed off because I was like, well, I don't want to try to keep moving forward with someone that obviously has his attention somewhere else. And later on, he
Hmm.
came and actually um, admitted to me that there was another young lady that had his attention, but she ended up having a boyfriend or something, a living boyfriend. But you wanted me to just be on the back burner until you figured out if that situation. So it
Right.
was just kind of like, you know what? I'm
Yeah.
let you have that. So, um,
And what's so frustrating to me about that scenario is that people generally don't want to be honest from the jump because they give you an option to say, okay, well, I want to entertain other people as well. I
right,
think it's just a very selfish mentality to have.
right. And so, let's see. There was one more comment that said, nowadays anybody can be a nice guy. Like you guys mentioned, some people tend to switch that on and off. And it
Right.
is subject to, I guess, the circumstances and whether or not that person is trying to accomplish a certain agenda when it as it relates to how they're trying to approach you. And a lot of times, like, you'll have people that look at social media and say, you know what, this woman is perfect for me, but then when they actually get that person, then it's like, okay, well, maybe not so much. So then they did all these nice things to get your attention, and now all of a sudden it gets switched off. So those are
I
unfortunate.
I think to that point, social media is like a dating candy store. And
Mm,
people like to go shopping and they might like strawberry one day, but then they want to try mango because mango's new on the market. Somebody new and beautiful came on their For You page, and so they slide in her DMs to see what she's about. I don't know if women do that, because we are not the ones that usually pursue men. At least I don't. But I know men like to
shop
shop
around.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was gonna leave it open for questions and answers. I don't know how many people they were. It was quite a few in here viewing at first, but let's see. Um, I will go ahead and actually display. I know a lot. Sorry to kind of cut this thing off, but I wanted to at least show everyone my shirt. I actually got sponsored for 80s baby shirt from
Oh,
CT
cool.
Apparel, and if I will actually post up the link and everything in the description for anyone that wants to purchase. But I thought this was a really cool shirt. Um,
Yeah, I'm an 80s baby too.
but yeah, so I mean, you know, um, other than that, like, I mean, how has like have you experienced like even like recently as far as like any type of gestures that meant, because I know sometimes we also, I think I sent something to you the other day related to an individual that was asking a young lady to help her with her groceries, but then he posted about saying that, oh well, women don't appreciate good gestures anymore.
Yeah.
And like one young lady pointed out, well, if you were a nice guy, it seems like you're in your feelings because she rejected the nice gesture. So, what are your
Right.
thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's like if you offer to help somebody with their bags, you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart, not because afterwards you expect her to give her elderly woman if you helped her. So why can't you have that same mentality with someone that you might
Right. Uh oh.
do to be nice if you only want something at the end?
Right. Right. And so like I know that there have been many a times where even when it comes to like guys approaching a woman, if you reject them, they tend to uh call you out your name, and it's like, oh, but I thought you was a nice guy. So
Yes.
why is it that I'm now all these different names because I don't want to pursue anything romantic with you? um so I think that is a a clear indicator that these people aren't really as nice as they try to convince others. um
Right. I started experiencing that with teenage boys as a teenager. Just walking around New York City, guys will holler, catcall at you. And if you say, no, I'm okay, because it's like 15 of them standing over there, of course, I don't want to go talk to you with your friends. And then if you say no, then all of a sudden you calling me out my name. I went from being
right.
beautiful to ugly. And it's like,
There
I
was
don't know.
another question. Do you believe the saying "nice guys finish last," or is that not in a thing anymore?
I don't think nice guys finish last. I think women like me appreciate the guys who are actually nice. Like I don't want the toxic futures of the world.
Oh my
I'm
God!
not into that type of guy. I would much rather the Russell Wilson. And I think he's not finishing last. So that's
Right,
a definite example that's currently in the media that you can look at.
right. I thought that was really very interesting that another podcast group and this gentleman was on there saying how he would rather be with a future versus Russell Williams. And I'm like, we always get this this same phrase from most men that say we should pick better. And so
Right.
Sierra actually picked better, and now there's
They still have a problem with it.
right, right. So it's like you can't win for losing in those situations.
I
And
think those guys, they probably identify with Future to some degree, and so they
yeah,
feel themselves as personally rejected.
right, right. Well, and the thing of it is that with the whole dynamic of their relationship, like, people don't understand how, once a person is actually healing and tired of the toxicity of a person, and I won't just, direct it just at men, but women as well. People get tired of toxicity at some point, and they want something healthy and less drama, and someone that actually genuinely cares about them and their well-being. um
Yes,
and so, that's where the actual good guys come in. And sometimes, just because they don't fit society's norm for, what it looks like to be rich and famous, that's, I think that's where they, like you said, they're more relatable to Future, because he's maybe, you know um speaking to, the uh I guess the masses, when it comes to how the and, with him having all these baby mamas,
yes.
it's
I
his.
mean, he promotes womanizing, and a lot of guys like that lifestyle.
Right. So and it's unfortunate, because, again, they always say, we should pick better. And now that this man had no kids, and he's very successful and treats her well, and now, he's a cornball. But,
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's heard the audio of how he actually picked up Sierra. He was talking about his wallet, and how, that just shows consistency, and that's how I'm gonna be with you. I thought that was the most.
Right.
I he's not such a cornball as
He's
everybody
not.
thinks.
Yeah, definitely not.
And so, but yeah, so yeah, that's, where, I would have to say that, I disagree with those men that think that Future is, somehow supersedes Russell in that aspect, because he's obviously doing a great job as a husband. And he constantly displays that, like, in his actions, that he's a good man, he's a nice guy. A lot of times, like I tell people all the time, being a nice or a good person is unspoken.
Mhm.
You're just going to show that in your actions. It's not going to be a thing that you have to broadcast or try to sell to someone, by saying, oh, well, I'm a nice person. You're just
Right.
be that.
I think that whole argument online about Russell versus Future is because the masses of the toxic men don't want that to be the new standard. They
Mm,
don't want to have to change and actually be a good person because it
mm,
doesn't benefit them to no longer have the option to date 10 other women at the same time. So I think
right.
that's why they're making such a big fuss about it.
Right. And, sometimes I think that with the fact that most want no effort or little to no effort in order to get what they want. And, that's not how the world works,
Yeah.
especially not in dating. No one wants to be with someone that doesn't put in any effort to let them know that they care about them.
Yeah. But I think to the women's accountability point that a lot of us have been accepting the bare minimum. And that
True.
is why the bar is in hell right now.
Just
Because I mean, I have not dated people that were homeless and didn't have a vehicle or job, but I have heard horror stories of women who have. So
right.
yeah, we have.
I've actually been guilty of that, more so when, once you've gone through bad relationships, you tend to lose sight of who you are as a
Yeah,
person. And if you haven't gone through therapy and actually, worked out those kinks, you're going to keep picking the same type of individual, for, future on,
yes,
so I know it's very important to actually seek therapy and to actually, work out those kinks before you actually start back dating, because again, you'll end up in the same cycle but a different person.
Yes, the exact same model.
Right.
Yes, that is
Well,
so
I
true.
won't take up too much of your time. I
Well, thank you. This
appreciate
was
you coming.
fun. I appreciate you too.
So you enjoy your vacation, and
Thank you.
we will try to reconvene at a later date.
Okay,
Bye.
awesome. Thank you. Bye, everyone.